that good? Yeah, it's gonna have to be. I'm just gonna have to see kind of the steering wheel in my hand a bit because I don't really have another option. Isn't that a nice steering wheel? Don't you like that? Isn't that incredible? I would have another option if I was driving my truck, which the truck that I used to own, that I've filmed in a couple times, I recently repurchased that, so I have that again. Nothing's wrong with this car, knock on wood, but I've been wanting that back for a while. So anyways, that's not the point of this video. So it's been about a month since I uploaded anything, and similarly since me and Danny made a video going on about how great things are about to be. But and you know, at the time it did seem that way, but now here we are a month in, and a lot of people have let me down, and I've gotten characteristically screwed. It's very windy. Give it just a moment. There we go. I prefer to drive with the windows down, but I guess I can roll with the AC for a little bit. So I guess I'm not gonna be coy like I have been in the past. So I work for Domino's, right? And I've worked for Domino's for a couple years now, and it's been a really cool job. Honestly, like, my old GM was fantastic. This particular franchise is, pretty good, because I've worked for bad franchises. Because in the past, I don't know, a couple years ago, I want to say like 2018, I was working for a Hardee's franchise, which was cool at first, but then everything went downhill really fast, and that franchise was just really poorly run, so there was no real chance of it getting fixed anytime soon. But so I know what a bad boss is, and I know what a bad company looks like, as far as working for it. And this isn't that, and hasn't been that. But for like 2.5 years, I was just, MIT, manager in training, assistant manager, whatever you want to call it, at one of the stores. And I was perfectly fine with that, perfectly happy with that, because I was making decent money, enough to support, me and the way I live, because I don't need a whole lot. It's just the kind of person I am. But so I was totally fine, and I've always been more of the type to put the stuff that I want on hold, for, so that my wife can do and pursue the things that she wants, which I'm totally chill with, because like I said, there's not a whole lot that I want out of life, really. Sometimes I'll get a wild hair and I'll be like, I'm gonna do this, but for the most part, I gotta set this back down, hang on. Okay, it's just not gonna work, sorry. I know this is jank as hell, and I probably shouldn't be doing this while I'm driving, but I really don't have any other time. But anyways, without trying to ramble, I'll put my stuff on hold if my wife's got a new job that she's starting, or something that she's wanting to do, because I'm chill with that. It's totally fine. Like, I don't care, dog. But I've always wanted, like, my current dream, I guess you could say, is I want to own my own restaurant. Even if it doesn't have to be something massive. It can just be like a little like a cafe, or a greasy spoon roadside hometown diner. I just want something that's mine, and I've always liked food and cooking, and just the restaurant industry in general. But since I know that that's a huge undertaking and requires a lot of capital, in the meantime, I've been working for a very long time towards the goal of just running my own store. Being told that, hey, you're good enough, here's the general manager position. And back in February, that happened. This job just sort of fell out of the sky, really, because the store that I'm in had just a really bad management team, bad crew overall, running it straight into the ground. And when when it got in this area, it got a little snowy 1 week. It got a little snowy 1 week in February. And for any of you that have worked in pizza, you might know this, but for those of you that don't, anytime it rains or snows or the weather gets any kind of inclement or bad, then people lose their fucking minds and just start ordering pizza like crazy. And it doesn't matter if it's like bad weather for like 30 minutes or 3 days, people will lose their fucking mind. Like, for example, the other day I had a night that was totally chill. It was a super chill day, super chill night, and the rush period of that store, a general rush period, be 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., maybe 8:30 p.m. Well, 10 o'clock rolls around, and we just had a random like flash thunderstorm basically, and the way the system works is it tells you how many pizzas you have, how many items down that you have to make, and I went from 0 to a collective 45 items down in less than a minute and a half. That's how many people saw that it started raining and just, I guess, put on their stupid pants and bombarded me with online orders and phone calls and all kinds, to the point where I had to have the online ordering cut off for a little bit, because I was the only person in the store to make all the food, and service times are a thing, and it wasn't a realistically manageable thing. So that's how that goes. But there was a week in February where it got kind of snowy. The store that I was working at, where I was just the MIT, it got busy too, but we managed because that was a good, properly run store. But that one, I guess they were used to just not doing anything because they just wouldn't answer the phones. They would cut the internet themselves, which, I had to call my boss in my instance and ask him, hey, can you please cut this? But no, they had figured out a way to do it themselves. So they would just sit around and do nothing basically. And then when it got slightly busy, which compared to what I'm doing now on just a normal bright sunny day is like half as busy as what I'm dealing with right now, with less people, by the way. But anyways, when it got slightly busy, they all just decided that they were going to quit, and pretty much the entire store, save for 3 employees, quit. So literally the job just fell out of the sky and kind of into my lap, and I knew it was going to be rough goings because it was a cleanup job, because I basically had nobody, and the owner wants to keep the store running. He doesn't want to have to close it because that's a hit to his pocketbook, which I totally understand. So I knew it was going to be tough, but I think it was going to be this tough, and it wasn't supposed to be, because the things that we kind of had set in place all fell apart because certain people turned out to be less reliable than we thought they were, and just kind of dipped on us. But anyways, long story short, that's just a long-winded explanation for saying that's kind of where I'm at right now, to where it's me and it's Danny, and that's the entire management team. So we're both having to work 6 days a week, OCs, open to close shifts, that sort of thing, so that one or the other can have a day off. Come on, you fucking Nissan. Such a good feeling. I should have just done that to begin with. I would have been well ahead of this Sentra, and I wouldn't have had to wait. But anyways, so we've just been swamped, just busier than I think I've ever been. And the thing is, unlike the Hardee's situation, because it's basically the Hardee's situation all over again, the only difference is now I'm in charge. And the weird thing is, I don't feel the same way. I don't hate it. I don't dread waking up and having to go in there in the mornings or whenever. Granted, it does still suck. I don't want to work this much, but I don't hate it. That being said, sorry, I had to collect my thoughts. So here's what all of this has to do with this channel. time, this has always been just like, I've been doing this for a long time and it hasn't gone anywhere, and that's totally fine. Like, I don't care, because this has always been just more of like a fun hobby for me. It's a thing that I enjoy doing. It's like some people enjoy collecting stamps. I enjoy making content on the internet. However jank and unprofessional it is, I enjoy making content on the internet. That is one of my favorite things to do. And every single time I have thought, maybe it's time to step away, to call it quits, to say goodbye, and focus on, real life or whatever, I get this awful, like, acid reflux-esque just feeling in the very pit of my stomach, because I don't want to do that. I would like to keep making content regardless of success, just, for fun, for as long as realistically possible. And because it's a hobby, because I'm not trying to make a job out of it, because it's just a hobby, I feel strongly that I should be able to continue doing it. And what I mean by that, and maybe this is the millennial in me, but I don't believe that a job, however good the job is, however well the job pays, whatever the benefits of the job, I don't believe that a job should ever be a thing where you are forced to have to give up the things that you like, the things that you love to do, just so that you can keep doing that job. I don't believe in that. I never have, and I never will, because that's not what a job should be. Now, so I don't know exactly when I will be back full time, but I'm not quitting and I'm not leaving. And I don't know exactly what the future holds in terms of my work life. But I do know that I have a lot of other stuff going on right now beyond this job. I'm not ready to give up on the job, the opportunity that has been given to me. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, there's other stuff that's going on. Because there's a lot of other stuff that I want to do. For example, I want to keep making content, but there's other stuff that I want to try and do and accomplish in my personal life. Like going back to school, for example. That's something that's been being tossed around in my head. So, anyways, this has just been a long, rambly video. I really haven't done a rambly video in a long time. Despite how long I've been doing this, I've never, ever gotten good at just getting to the point. Never once. But I have managed lately to not make videos that are as rambly and long. But this isn't one of those instances. But, yeah. So the long and the short of it is, this job is taking up way much more of my time and being just way more of a pain in the ass than it was supposed to be. And because of it, because I'm working 6 days a week and I only have one day off, and in those 6 days I'm putting in about 70 to 80 hours in the week, I don't know when I will be back, but I will be back, I promise. Just give me some time to figure some stuff out, and I will be back as soon as I can. And I will make every effort to make the absolute best content that I can, better than it's ever been. Because I don't really want to give this up yet. It's way too much fun. So, for anyone and everyone out there watching, I just want to say thanks for your patience. To the Unus Annus Rebirth channel, if you happen to see this, and actually watched it this far, all of the stuff, I had plans to make a video about everything that went down, but everything that went down happened to coincide with like the exact same time that I ended up with this job, and I've been nonstop busy since I took it. So I haven't forgotten, and the video will come. I don't know if it'll be as good as it could have been because there's been so much time that's passed and so much that has happened, and I don't know if I'll get everything, but that video is coming, I promise. I haven't forgotten. But yeah, so that's it. So I don't know what the future holds for me personally, but I know that I'll be back to this. I'll be back to this. And I'll let you guys know when. So that's it. It's the end of this one. Thanks everyone, and I'll see each and every one of you in whatever video comes next. Goodbye.